Skin retouching takes a lot of patience, but it's well worth it for your clients. Just go with it, okay? So first thing I'm gonna do here, we're gonna do a bunch of brush tools. The first one here we're gonna go into clarity. Actually, we're gonna open this wide. I'm gonna do a couple different things other than just clarity. I don't like to use just clarity for skin softening. I like to use a mixture of texture and clarity. So first, let's go ahead and just brush her face so we get a good masking going. And I just do the skin. I don't do the lips or the eyes necessarily. We do other adjustments for those. So let's go ahead and get her body, get her chest. I like everything to really kind of be even with skin softening. I don't really like to have goosebumps on the arms, or I don't know what else you would get, like any kind of bumps on the arms or like dry skin, things like that. So let's go ahead and bring the texture down about there, and then bring the clarity down a little bit. So, I mean, already that looks really so much better. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. You can see that looks a lot better already. I'm gonna click back on this. Just make sure we got around the eyebrows real good. Just make sure we got all those little tiny spots around the eyes. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do, we are gonna go ahead and add a little bit of exposure to the under eye area. It's gonna look a little weird at first, but just trust the process. This is gonna help with the bags. Basically anywhere where the sun would naturally light the face is where we're gonna light up. So I'm gonna do, you see how the bow of her lip naturally has a little bit of light right there? Just do a little tiny bit. And of course the chin. So you're gonna wanna avoid where the natural contour would be, or where the makeup artist did the contour. We don't wanna brighten up the contour because we don't wanna essentially ruin what the makeup artist did. So just gonna brighten up around the eyes, the forehead, the nose, the under eyes. So now that we've brightened that up a little bit, I'm gonna also go ahead and bring the texture down again a little tiny bit, and just add the tiniest haze. You saw how tiny that was, literally -5. Okay, so again, it's, looks a little off. So let's go ahead and play with it. I'm gonna bring the highlights up, and then just kinda gently. Okay. We might not go so high on the exposure, maybe just bring it, yeah, that I think is a sweet spot right there. Okay, let's hit done and zoom out. Okay, so we're not done. We're gonna go ahead and kind of warm up the contour that the makeup artist did. So we're gonna go ahead and do another brush, and I'm just going to kind of paint around that contour and the natural shadows of her makeup. Okay. I did get some on her hair, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit the eraser tool and just get rid of that. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and add a little contrast. Gonna bring down the shadows a little bit on that contour. And let's bring up the exposure just a little tiny bit. So we added a little contrast, we brought down the shadows, and then to kind of make it look a little more even, we brought the exposure up just to kind of blend that into the skin. So that looks that looks really good. So let's hit done and zoom out. And this is looking just a little bit too dark right here. So, and one easy way to fix that is let's do another brush. So when you're trying to find that fine balance of lightening the under eyes and enhancing the contour, it can get kind of choppy sometimes. You see how there's like that line where you can see it. So what I do in that case is I'm going to go ahead and take an empty brush. I'm going to put a mask right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with these texture and clarities. So let's go ahead and soften the clarity a little bit and soften that texture a little bit. Yeah, that's so much better. Let's hit done and zoom out. All right, so not quite done yet. Let's go back to her eyes. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of just paint on the lightest part of her shadow. And we're just going to enhance it a little bit, bring up the highlights on that, and lower the contrast there. And that just kind of gave it a really beautiful pop. Just lighten that up a little bit. And then I'm also going to apply that to her lips. You see right here where the light catches her lips? Right in this, I think they call this like the bow of the lip. I think it's just so pretty to add right there. Okay, almost done, almost done, not quite. Let's take another brush. We're going to paint on her eyelashes right here. And I'm going to add a little bit more clarity to really just make that pop. You know, as women, we love to have gorgeous eyelashes, right? So why not just enhance them a little bit? And then just add a little bit of black to it to really just make that black pop, because who doesn't love a good dark black mascara? All right, let's zoom out. Do you see how beautiful and creamy that looks? Oh, I love that. Okay, so now that the skin is beautiful and glowing, I'm gonna go ahead and just maybe bring the exposure back to the overall image a little bit. I think right there is a good sweet spot. And then a couple things we could do, which I did not do in the final photo, but I'm gonna, since I reset the image and I'm kind of starting over, I think I just want to see what something looks like. I just want to see what it looks like to add a linear gradient right here, to see if we just kind of add a little bit of darkness, bring the exposure down, if that just kind of makes her pop a little bit more, which I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna delete that. Okay, ignore that. You know, that's one thing about photography is you just try things, and sometimes you will already have edited an image, but then you go back to it for one reason or another and you just want to see something else, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All right, I am going to plug my laptop in so you might see the screen get brighter. Another thing too with bridal portraits is I will unplug my laptop, because when you plug it in, your screen is going to look a lot brighter. So when you unplug the laptop, you see the more natural photo of what it would look like without that brightened screen. So for the sake of this image, I'm actually going to leave my laptop unplugged so I don't ruin the video. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and, okay, so before I say what I'm going to do next, I don't want anyone to think that I'm superficial or that I'm just changing the body because I think that brides, you know, need, I don't know how to word it, but basically I like to do a little bit of body contouring, and it's not to dramatically change anyone's body, because bodies are beautiful. Every woman is beautiful in her own skin, and I do not condone changing the shape of bodies. I really, really don't. However, me being a woman myself and editing my own photos of myself, I know there are a few little areas that women like to kind of shrink in a little bit. So again, I don't think that women need to change the shape of their body for their wedding photos, but personally, I like to do this for my brides, where I just kind of bring in this little bit of arm skin. Because, you know, when you are resting your arms down and holding a bouquet and you're pressing your arms against your body, it does kind of move skin around, and it can make you look bigger where you're not necessarily big, right? And again, not saying that she looks big because she's absolutely radiant. Please don't come after me. This is just what I notice with my own body, and pretty much every bride that I shoot that is in this position with their arms against their body holding a bouquet. So I'm going to take this image over into Photoshop and do a really quick, easy edit. I'm not going to change anything else about her body, okay? So we are going to photo, edit in Photoshop. All right, and while that loads, again, I just want to reiterate, I don't think it's important to reshape women's bodies unless your bride specifically asks you to, okay? She did not ask me to do it, but again, I'm just going to do it for her. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer here. And sorry if I rambled on about the whole body contouring thing. I really don't know how to word that for a video to where I come off appropriate, or, 2022, people are sensitive about everything these days, and I don't want to offend anybody. So, okay, moving on. I'm going to stop rambling about that. So we are going to go into filter, and we're going to go to liquify. And this is like so easy to do too. So easy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this brush down. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to hit Control Option, and then I'm going to click and drag to the left to bring that down. And I'm simply just I'm going to actually put that back, and I'm going to bring it up a little bit more. You want the brush to be a little bit bigger than the object or somewhere near the same size. Okay, now I'm just going to kind of bring this in. Let's go ahead and just kind of move it around. And that's it. It's really not that much. I didn't change any shape of her body, honestly. Honest to God, I did not. Okay, just brought the arm in a little bit. We're going to hit OK. And look at that difference. I did nothing to body shame her. I just simply brought that little piece in. All right. You can save this. All you have to do to go back to Lightroom with the same image is save a copy, save on your computer. You can change it to a JPEG, and it'll save it to the file that it imported from.